Oh, wow. Dolphins fans, the rumors are getting loud. We've been hearing whispers all week about a possible trade for Brian Robinson Jr. And guess what? Those rumors just got a whole lot hotter. This update comes from Ricky Scoops, a name Dolphins fans have learned to trust. Why? Because this guy has been on fire with his reports this offseason. He was the first to link the Steelers to Jalen Ramsey. He even predicted that Miami would trade for an all-pro. And boom, we landed Ramsey. So when Ricky talks, you listen. Now here's the big scoop. Ricky says Miami Dolphins are the frontrunners to land Brian Robinson Jr. from the Washington Commanders. This report dropped early Thursday morning, and Dolphins Nation is buzzing. Before we dive deeper into this story, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss a single update about your Miami Dolphins. Now, let's get into the latest news. So, what makes this rumor even more exciting? Robinson isn't just some random back. He's entering the final year of his rookie contract, coming off 3 solid seasons after being drafted in the 3rd round out of Alabama. Last season, his most efficient year yet. The guy is strong, physical, and the kind of downhill runner who could thrive in Mike McDaniel's offense. Why would Washington let him go? It's not about money. It's about scheme fit. The Commanders are looking to change things up in their running back room. Meanwhile, Miami? We're thin at RB. After Alexander Madison's season-ending injury, this move makes even more sense. Imagine this: Raheem Mostert, De'Von Achane, and Brian Robinson Jr. in the same backfield. That's dangerous. That's a legit 3-headed monster. And in a season where we're pushing for the Super Bowl, adding a player like Robinson could be the difference between being good and being elite. Now, Ricky did mention a few other teams in the mix: the 49ers, Texans, and Cowboys, but according to him, the Dolphins are the favorites right now. So here's my question for you. Should Miami pull the trigger and trade for Brian Robinson Jr.? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. I'll be checking what you all think, because personally, I think this is a no-brainer. Let's be real. Dolphins fans, this running back situation is getting a little too shaky for comfort. When we signed Ollie Garden, the plan was clear: use him as a short yardage weapon. And to be fair, Garden has looked promising in the preseason so far. But let's be honest, relying on a rookie in critical moments, like goal line situations, is risky. We need a proven veteran who can pound the rock when it matters most. Why the urgency? Well, it's not just Alexander Madison being out for the year. Thursday's joint practice with the Jaguars brought more bad news. Jalen Wright went down with a lower body injury. He left the field slowly, clearly in discomfort. After that, Garden had to take most of the first-team snaps. That sounds like depth issues, right? Coming into camp, I actually thought this RB group was one of Miami's biggest strengths. On paper, it looks stacked. Madison, Achane, Wright, and Garden. But things have gone downhill fast. Madison's done for the year. De'Von Achane is still dealing with a calf injury, and there's no guarantee he'll be ready for week 1. Wright is now banged up. And honestly, we can't pin all our hopes on Garden, Aaron Champlin, or Mike Boone to carry the load. That's why I keep circling back to a Brian Robinson Jr. trade. The more our depth takes a hit, the more sense it makes. Especially because of one huge concern: Achane's calf injury. If there's one thing you don't mess with, it's calf injuries. They're sneaky. In the NBA, we've seen time and time again what happens when players rush back. Calf injuries often turn into torn Achilles. Miami can't afford that risk with one of its most explosive playmakers. Bottom line, this backfield needs help, and it needs it now. Adding Robinson gives us security, toughness, and a reliable option while our guys heal up. In a season where the margin for error is razor thin, this move could make the difference between a good year and a championship run. We've seen it before. Dolphins fans, calf injuries can derail careers. Just look at names like Kevin Durant, or even what happens in the NFL. When you try to play through a calf issue, You put extra strain on the Achilles. And when that goes, snap, season over. That's a risk Miami cannot afford to take with De'Von Achane. And let's be honest, this running back room is in trouble. Jalen Wright hasn't looked great, and now he's hurt. As much as I like Ollie Garden, you can't expect a sixth-round rookie to suddenly become the bell cow back in a system as complex as Mike McDaniel's. That's just not realistic. Meanwhile, Brian Robinson Jr., he's practically gift wrapped in waiting. Everything points to him not playing in Washington this year. That means he's available, and Miami should absolutely make a move. Why? Because Robinson is coming off the best season of his career, 4.3 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns, and a level of efficiency we hadn't seen before. Sure, maybe his success last year had to do with working alongside another strong back or playing in an offense with a mobile quarterback like Jaden Daniels. But the bottom line is this. Robinson is a proven, physical runner who would instantly become Miami's number 2 back behind Achane. Think about the difference. Achane and Robinson as a 1-2 punch versus Achane and an unproven rookie like Garden. It's not even close. Robinson brings reliability, toughness, and experience, all things this offense needs if it wants to make a real playoff push. And the best part? He wouldn't cost much to acquire. That's why this move makes so much sense. If Miami is serious about chasing a Lombardi, this is the kind of trade you make. Go get Brian Robinson Jr., solidify the backfield, and keep this offense humming at full speed. Here's the thing, Dolphins fans, I'm not saying Brian Robinson Jr. is going to come in and light up the stat sheet with 40-yard breakaway runs. That's not his game. And honestly, that's not what Miami needs from him. We already have the speed guy in De'Von Achane. He's the fastball in this offense. Robinson? He's the changeup that keeps defenses guessing and knocks defenders backward when it matters most. Now, let's be real. If you look at the advanced stats, Robinson wasn't elite in creating explosive runs last season. Out of 50 qualified running backs, he ranked in the bottom half for yards per carry, explosive run rate, and short yardage success rate. And yes, 44th out of 50 backs at 34% of his runs go for 1 yard or less. But before you panic, keep this in mind: Washington's offensive line was far from dominant. A lot of that inefficiency wasn't all on Robinson. And here's the key point: Miami wouldn't be bringing Robinson in to be a home run hitter. His role would be crystal clear: short yardage and goal line situations. 3rd and 1, 2nd and 3, 1st and goal inside the 5. That's where Robinson earns his paycheck. Those tough, grinded out yards are what he does best. Think of it this way: whatever role the Dolphins envisioned for Alexander Mattison this season before his injury, Robinson fits that mold, and he'd do it better. He's proven in those scenarios. Over his career, Robinson has converted 26 of 38 attempts in short yardage situations. That's impressive when defenses know you're running the ball. This is the kind of player Miami has been missing: someone who can get the dirty yards and take the pressure off Tua and Achane in high-stakes moments. Sure, I like Ollie Gordon's upside, but expecting a rookie to dominate in that role right now? That's a gamble you can't afford if you're chasing a Super Bowl. Coming up next, let's break down what a Brian Robinson Jr. trade could realistically cost the Dolphins and why this might be the perfect low-risk, high-reward move. All right, Dolphins fans, let's talk about what this trade could actually look like. We've covered why Miami needs Brian Robinson Jr., but here's the best part: it wouldn't cost much at all. According to reports and conversations around the league, the Commanders aren't looking for a big haul. In fact, it sounds like they'd be happy just to get something in return rather than cutting him outright. Right now, the projected value? A late round pick, maybe a 7th rounder at best. That's pocket change for a player who can come in and make an immediate impact in short yardage and goal line situations. This is why the move makes so much sense. You're not mortgaging your future. You're not giving up a starter. You're simply adding depth and security at a position where injuries have already started piling up. For a team with Super Bowl aspirations, this is exactly the kind of smart, low-risk, high-reward move you make. Imagine a scenario where Miami lands Robinson for a late pick suddenly. You have a backfield featuring Achane for speed, Mostert for versatility, and Robinson for power. That combination gives Mike McDaniel every tool he needs to keep defenses guessing. So, here's the question. Will Chris Grier pull the trigger? If he does, the price tag makes this trade one of the easiest decisions the front office could make all year. Here's the reality, Dolphins fans. If Miami doesn't act fast, Brian Robinson Jr. could hit waivers. And if that happens, teams with higher priority, like the Titans, could scoop him up without breaking a sweat. If we want him in aqua and orange, the safest way is through a quick trade. So, what would that trade look like? Honestly, something simple, a pick swap. Here's what I'd expect. Miami sends a 6th-round pick in 2027 to Washington, and in return, the Dolphins get Brian Robinson Jr. plus a 7th-round pick in 2025. Why? Because Miami doesn't even have a 6th-rounder this year. And this is how these roster bubble deals usually go. We've seen these types of moves before. Sky Moore going from Kansas City to San Francisco, or those late camp swaps involving defensive tackles. It's all about minimizing risk and securing a player you need without leaving it to chance. And honestly, this is why I'm all in. It's cheap, low risk, and a major upgrade over what Miami currently has. Look, I wanted Jalen Wright to take a step forward this year. I liked his flashes in the preseason and that game against New England last season. But the reality? He hasn't looked good in the first 2 preseason games, and now he's injured. Achane is still dealing with that calf issue, and we can't afford to rush him back. So why not add a guy who's been an RB1 before, who can carry the load until Achane is 100%, and then give us that perfect 1-2 punch of speed and power? For a late round pick swap, it's a no-brainer. If Miami is serious about contending, this is the type of smart move that keeps you ahead of the competition. Now, let's play out another scenario. What if Brian Robinson Jr. doesn't land in Miami? Does that mean the Dolphins stand pat? Absolutely not. If Chris Grier and company still want to strengthen the backfield, there's another team to watch closely, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Why Jacksonville? Well, their coaching staff has already hinted that keeping 4 active running backs on game day is going to be nearly impossible. That means at least 1 talented back could be available. Their room is stacked with Travis Etienne, last year's breakout rookie Tank Bigsby, rookie Bashul Tutin from Virginia Tech, and Quint Allen Jr., who they value for pass protection. Here's the interesting part. If either Etienne or Bigsby hits the trade block, Miami should absolutely make a call. Etienne brings speed and receiving skills very similar to Achane's style. Bigsby? He's the physical, between the tackles runner this offense needs. Both would fit well in Mike McDaniel's system, depending on what role the Dolphins want to fill. And it's not just speculation. CBS Sports' Cody Benjamin recently dropped an article listing 5 running backs who could be traded. And guess what? He projected Travis Etienne to Miami. Now, is that likely? Hard to say. It would cost more than Brian Robinson Jr., and Jacksonville may not want to move him. But the point is, the Dolphins have options, and that's important if they want to keep this running game strong for a playoff push. Bottom line, Robinson Jr. remains the most cost-effective, logical move. But if that falls through, keep an eye on Jacksonville. This front office has shown they're not afraid to be aggressive when the right opportunity comes along.